Yo, what is up, 5-9 gamers? It is that time once again. It is Saturday, so it is time for the latest episode of the Dokkan Battle podcast. We are here with episode 69, Seeing Red Zone. I am your host, Masked Ningen, and as always, I am here with a group of guests to talk about everything that has been going on in Dokkan this week. So, first of all, say hello to our boy, DaTruth. How's it going?
Ohio.
We have the homie Goresh in the house.
Hello, what's up?
We have Ice Cold Joker. How's it going?
Good morning, everyone.
And of course, as always, last but not least, we have our boy Minato. How's it going?
Hello, 5-9 gamers. Hello.
Okay, so obviously there is a lot of exciting stuff to talk about, but we'll start off with we got to tuck into the small starter before we get to the main course. So we're gonna start off. I'm sure you guys are pretty familiar with like games like the Fallout franchise. So you think about how at the beginning of Fallout 3, you get through the intro/tutorial, you open that big vault door, the sunlight blinds your eyes as you look around slowly, and a bleary, desolate wasteland sprawls out in front of you. So that's basically what logging into Global is like at the moment.
So yeah, brother, here the global players go. Yes. Let's go.
So Goresh,
Life is hard over here.
what have you been up to this week on Global? Have you been doing much?
I've been link leveling. That's pretty much it. But because it's the only thing that really came out was like the fusion stuff,
Yep.
right?
Yeah. So
and I'm so livid. I'm so mad that you can't auto that event. It's so annoying.
So yeah, we talked about them a little bit last week. We obviously got the 4 EZAs for the fusion units, the Extreme Z battle. We also got the Awakenings, but not the EZAs for the free-to-play units, including, of course, the release of Tiencha, or should we say Yamhan, on
Gross.
Global. So Goresh, I don't think you were here when we talked about this on the previous one. Are you aware of this name change thing? Is this like a localization thing, or what's going on with our boy Yamhan?
I don't know why they would change it. They've changed a few other names in the past too, like Weirus on Global is Beerus East on JP. Cool EZA is Fura on JP.
Oh,
So
really?
there's been a few name changes, but I don't for this one specifically, I don't know why they changed it, because it actually is worse now, because Tien is just Tien in English. In Japanese, it's Ten Shin Han, which is where the Han comes from.
Yeah.
So people probably don't even know where that's coming from. Like if you were dubbed Tien, right?
Yeah, true. Yeah, it's like the same. Goes back to the whole Vegeta
right?
thing. Yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
Oh, imagine if they changed the other fusions names back to that.
Yeah, what would they even be?
I mean, just what Goresh, like Fura, what was it, Beerus or
Beerus East.
Is it Roku?
Yeah.
Well, that one I know why
Roku.
they changed it is because Weirus is virus. That's what it means in Japanese. So they're not going to name him that. So
I see. But yeah, so, I mean, obviously, this time of year, it's always, the hype is on JP because it's the anniversary. But I do feel like maybe it would be good if they tried to balance it out a little bit, because we've had some good stuff. Like, overall, the amount of stuff that we'll have gotten by the end of, if you want to just call it like the Android celebration, we'll have got a decent amount of stuff overall, but it's not necessarily spread out super well, especially when you compare it to the hypest event of the year going on the other version. So it's it's bad.
Let me cut you off real fast and just
for it.
warn you guys. The Android celebration is good. The Trunks celebration following this is not. That's horrible. That's the worst celebration of 2021. So
Why are you
the
doing
good
this to
news,
me,
global
Truth?
players, is you guys get the worst celebration of the year coming up next.
Yeah, so I feel like that's the one that's probably going to take us, that'll probably come out beginning of March, and it's going to last for like 2 weeks, and then it'll be Saiyan Day, I assume.
Yep.
But yeah, in terms of what's coming up, we obviously have maintenance scheduled coming up in the next couple of days. If we look at how the Android celebration panned out on JP, the only thing we can be pretty much certain of coming for, I guess we'd call it part 2, is the release of the LR Future Gohan and Trunks. Dropping as, of course, a legendary summon banner. Now, straight away, the major difference, of course, is when this came out on JP, this was a double rates banner, and then Global got the God Goku and Hit banner as the double rates Christmas banner. So you'd pretty much assume with a reasonable amount of certainty that it's not going to be a double rates banner. It'll just be a standard legendary summon banner. So Truth, tell us a little bit about LR Future Gohan and Trunks. Are they worth summoning for? What was your thoughts on this unit?
The character is very good, but before, exchanging into Gohan alone and dying and reviving and becoming incredible, the Gohan and Trunks itself is not the craziest. If you get good luck with orbs, right, and they're in like slot 2 or 3, they could have good defense, but the design of the unit is not great when it's Gohan and Trunks. They can struggle for ki quite badly if orbs are not on your side. Their damage is not impressive. They hurt the team, I would say, as Gohan and Trunks. So it's like, if you're going to use the unit, you really are wanting to try and revive with them.
Yeah. Goresh, is this a unit that you're excited for to arrive on Global? Or?
I think they're pretty cool. I just, this unit as a traditional gold coin banner, like legendary summon banner, that is a big no. I mean, if this was a double rates banner, then I could understand people maybe summoning a little bit for them. But this is like the biggest skip of the year almost. This guy on a regular legendary summon. If that actually ends up being the case, then that is a massive L.
Yeah, I could not scream skip any harder at all.
Yep.
I couldn't.
Yeah, there's always, of course, we always have the memes of, skip for the anniversary or whatever, but with seeing how much the meta is going to change with the arrival of the anniversary, you definitely want to be skipping as many banners as possible. Obviously, there's people out there, if you're a big fan of Future Gohan and Trunks, I know this was an LR that the community wanted in the game for a long time, so I'm sure some people will do some summons for it. Obviously, Global, chances are, whilst this has not been confirmed yet...
Just real fast, piggybacking on your skip to anniversary point, the first Dokkan Fest of March will give us a clue. I'm very curious if the next Dokkan Fest in JP is going to have another 200% leader skill or not. And then that can help global players, because then we probably know if Saiyan Day is going to have one, right?
Yep.
I think global players should skip until a 200% leader presents itself on global. Not necessarily save for anniversary, but try and get one of those type of leader skills.
I will say, just going back to the Future Gohan thing, I personally do expect this to be a double rates banner.
Really?
Just because I don't think they think anybody will summon if it's not.
I can see it, because global usually gets treated better. I
think they'll do a
That's
peel-off
true.
ticket for like 20 units and if guaranteed featured, but I don't know if they're gonna make it double rates.
I mean, I feel like there's like I could see the point in changing it to a normal one, but I feel like they wouldn't do that. I just feel like they would just kind of port the banner over, in my opinion. But
Funny thing about this unit on this banner is even if this is a double rates banner, I still don't think it's worth summoning. So
Yep.
Yeah, exactly. Because the like Truth was saying, we potentially are going to see something interesting. So this isn't on the list of subjects, but it does remind me, with you bringing it up, is obviously, I don't think it happened last year. I'm actually forgetting off the top of my head what the new mechanic was for last year, but we've seen in the past Global has released some aspect of what the anniversary mechanic was for JP before the anniversary. So we saw that with transformations, with UI Goku, active skills with Kid Goku coming out before the anniversary on Global.
How about Revive?
So with Saiyan Day and even again potentially the same time Golden Week, if that happens again, there is the possibility that we could get the first of those new type of leader skills on Global before the anniversary. So definitely banners like this, you probably should consider skipping because of all the crazy stuff that is potentially going to come out very soon.
Also, like, dude, are you going to pull Gohan and Trunks run on your stacked hybrid Saiyan team anyway? Like, come on.
Yeah, exactly.
They're the linchpin of making that team the greatest of all time.
just another.
Well, there is a certain unit
that.
that's the linchpin, and his name starts with tech.
Oh.
Yeah, go on a go turn.
Yeah.
All right, so the only other thing, of course, so again, going back to when we're looking at how the celebration was on JP, we had this Part 2 LR, we had a World Tournament, so the last one was New Year's, I think, for Global, so potentially another one of those coming up, but there's not a huge amount really left after that in part 2. And if we presume that the schedule is going to be at the end of this month / beginning of next month, we get the Trunks celebration for 2 weeks, and then we go into Saiyan Day. Part 2 is looking a little bit empty, so there has been a little bit of speculation. What do you guys think about the idea that with all the Fusions, EZAs and stuff that have released now, do you think there is a possibility that we will get the second batch of Fusion stuff that obviously did not release on JP until around the same time as the Goku and Kid Buu Dual Dokkan Fest?
Wait, you saying part 2 of which celebration?
This celebration now, because basically on, I think it'll be Tuesday, if we get the Future Gohan and Trunks banner, that's basically it for the rest of the month. So what do we think about the possibility of those Fusions units coming out to carry out the end of this month for Global?
I hope so I can start link leveling them before they get their
I think
EZAs.
it's reasonable to at least fill the gap of this second part of the celebration, because there's not much going on. So I don't see a reason why they couldn't just take that and make it some extra filler. Although then, what are they going to replace it with during the next celebration? Then is the next question.
Yeah, true. So obviously that remains to be seen. We don't even have confirmation in game yet that the Future Gohan and Trunks banner is arriving next week. It's just what we assume based on the JP schedule. But as we all know, that can very much change on Global. So yeah, that is basically it for Global. So now that we've got the appetizer out of the way, let us move on to the main topic for the week, which is, of course, the continuation of the anniversary on JP and the namesake of this episode. So, of course, we have an update to the Ultimate Red Zone. We have new stages for both the movie bosses and the GT bosses one. So Minato, let's start off with you. Tell us about the new movie bosses stages.
Yeah, so the new movie bosses stages I feel like are definitely pretty difficult. So against the Cooler stages, I believe is stage 3, you do go ahead and fight against obviously Cooler's minions first off, and then Cooler himself. I would say he does definitely hit pretty decently hard, but I wouldn't say he's too difficult until the last phase. So that last phase against Physical Cooler specifically, he does have a countdown, right? So he doesn't super attack until the countdown, but his countdown super attack hits really, really hard. Like he hit my...
So I've noticed in all my runs that it's always his last attack of the second turn. Have you noticed that as well? Because
yes.
even though I would say Cooler is harder than Android 13, but that does give you a huge advantage that you always know where that super attack is coming in. That's a huge advantage, right?
Especially if you're not running a scouter unit. Yeah, like Tag Gogeta or something.
It
That is
also,
definitely helpful.
He also doesn't super outside of that countdown, right?
Yeah,
Correct.
I haven't seen it yet.
He hasn't. So I would say it does hit really hard though. I think Truth, you said you countered it with your Gogeta, right?
Yeah, I've never been hit with it yet.
Yeah, my AGO, Goten and Trunks, they had like over 400k defense, like probably around like 450k ish, and they got hit for 600k damage. So he hits very hard, right? That Cooler is pretty nasty. So if you don't counter it, you gotta really be careful there. I personally found 13 easy, to be honest. I didn't really think it was an issue, mostly because he's just, it's 2 AGL phases. Although he hits hard, if you just really stack up with tech units and if need be use your items in like even the first stage, you'll kind of like Tech Gohan just clears that event, right?
Yeah, because his gimmick is that he cancels dodging. So like you can't dodge, you can't use UI Goku and characters like that in there, right? But
Yeah,
they made him
like,
weaker because of that for sure. Because that's like as hard as Baby and Rildo and these guys hit, you could go like UI Goku team, just dodge everything, just get lucky, right? That's it.
Yep, but it's like you might as well just for the 13th stage. I would just say probably bring like a Tech Gohan team, and you'll be really good because him stacking, guarding, type advantage, just too easy, right?
Yeah, so that was the
Tech Gohan. I thought he was bad though. Isn't he bad?
Sorry, my bad. Yeah, he doesn't link with his team. He doesn't link with Goten and Trunks, right? So he sucks.
Yeah, so Joker, what were your thoughts on the new stages?
Well, I've currently only beaten the first stage of each version, and the other 6 stages have been professionally kicking my ass. And it's My JP Boxino isn't the greatest, so I pretty much am limited to running a GT Heroes team on everything, which can work out, but not for this. I don't have, some good type advantage units. My hybrids team is not great. Pretty much only have Tech Gohan and LR Gohan. So I've been struggling a lot. So I've just been trying to grind EZAs to get more stones to summon.
Just use AGL Bardock for cooler, man. You'll be fine, right?
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
I haven't tried that yet. I think I will.
Yeah,
he's gonna do real good, man.
Well, he could dodge. He could dodge the countdown super attack.
Oh 18%. Yeah, 18%.
He can, reduce that damage as well by 18%.
Oh, yeah.
He'll tank.
He's only gonna take 900k, man.
Yeah.
There you go. We got the new top strat for cooler in the red zone. So yeah, I've tried it out. My JP account is not the best either. I'm in a similar boat where I have like 1 or 2 good teams. I managed to get through the first 2 stages for the movie bosses one, and then yeah, cooler absolutely destroyed me. So I'm working on building up my team a little bit more. And then Truth, tell us about the GT bosses stages.
So, I mean, Minato, you can jump in at any time. I found the GT ones to be quite a bit harder, and it's not even about God Goku either. Like, obviously, the movie bosses ones are going to be even easier anyway because you have God Goku to play with. And then, once you get to the end, it's against Broly, so you'll be able to rock Tech Khalifa as well. But Rildo and Baby, they just hit so hard. And then Rildo's got his locking.
Yes,
at the
and he
end.
lowers defense too, right?
Yeah.
So it's like he locks like your slot 3 unit in slot 1, and then he just kills you. It's like, okay, thanks.
he did that to my amazing defensive SCR Vegeta unit, and he took a little bit of damage, I'd say.
It's a nice, like 700k?
Yeah. And then Baby just seems like outright the strongest boss in the game currently, based off of what I've seen, right? It just seems like he's hitting the hardest. He has the highest defenses and health pretty much. He has an AoE attack in Great Ape. The one thing that does sort of balance it is the final 2 phases are int. So you can load up on physical units. In my run, I've only fought Baby once right now, or twice. He might have killed me. Yeah, twice. But in my run, I used the 3rd year anniversary Gogeta. Even though those 3rd year anniversary LRs are very mid at this point, besides their fuse, because Baby was int those last 2 phases, that Gogeta was actually able to put in some work for me. So
yeah, that full hero, I didn't even think about that. That'd be pretty good for that stage, honestly. And I would say, the thing about Baby is that he's also the only stage at 4 phases as well, which you can see that as a good thing or a bad thing because you could stack more, but also it's like, I feel like for a lot of players, it's just because they limit your items, right? You can only bring 1 item. So since all the stages are already hard enough as they are compared to the other, like cooler, even harder than 13 and stuff like that, there's less items for you to use in a sense. So I feel like people may struggle with that considering that as well, right?
Yeah, the Baby stage is going to feel very unfair. That AoE attack of his does so much damage. It's so unfair. It feels so damn unfair.
He can do that 3 times in a turn. It's 1 turn.
Wait, what?
Wait, he can?
Yeah, I've seen somebody do the fight and he was AoEing 3 times in 1 turn.
Really? I didn't even see that before myself.
Yeah, he can.
Well, looks like I'm going to hold off on that stage for a little while longer.
Yeah, I was going to
that
say,
Baby boss is so
I'm
nasty,
already
dude.
struggling with cooler, so I need to actually pull these LR Super Saiyan 4s, damn it.
I mean, I would say Gogeta is definitely like a very good counter to Baby, though. The LR Super Saiyan 4 Gogeta, because he just, with his counter chance and the fact that he's type advantage is really, really a big help. So they're kind of like screaming at you, hey, if you have a Super Saiyan 4 Gogeta, you're good. If you don't, then pull on his banner, right?
I think Physical Vegeta Blue is actually a really, really good unit for that fight.
I would say kind of, because if you're running him like the 3rd slot and he gets attacked before his defense really kicks in with the super attacks, he could probably take a little bit of damage, right?
Well,
He
yeah,
won't
but
get
those
damage
still count
reduction.
as normal, so he's still gonna have the damage reduction.
Yeah.
I see. So in terms of, other than obviously Tech God Goku for the movie bosses, are there any other, you've obviously mentioned the Gogeta, the 3 LR, are there any other sort of standout units you think would help people out if they are having trouble?
Tech Gohan.
The old faithful, the Hybrid Saiyans team.
Yeah. I mean, I feel like Tech Gogeta is a really good option for these stages, just because his scouter effect is really good. Oh, Truth, you use Tech Count Khalifa, right?
Yeah, I was dancing on all these stages except for Baby Tech Kill and Khalifa. The thing is, right? Turn 6 is not a good condition, but unlike all these other bastards who, oh, you got to be above this HP condition or this HP condition or this many super attacks or this bullshit or that bullshit, they're just always turn 6. So it's like you could really play around that. You know, what do they heal? 60%, right? Like they dominated, honestly. Like Kill and Khalifa themselves are not that impressive, but like that heal is just so strong on like a character that is strong, right? It's not like you're bringing, you know, LR Oob, who is fodder besides his heal. So.
Okay, so obviously we've talked a little bit about the Tech God Goku. So we got 4 new EZAs, part of 2 separate dual Extreme Z battles. We will go ahead and start off with the man himself, the Tech Super Saiyan 4 Gogeta. So this guy, obviously, people have been looking forward to this EZA for a very long time. Both him and the Omega got the big bump up in their leader skill. We've seen a lot of the 150 characters EZA to 160. They went straight up to 170. So now, Minato, I know I saw you talking about it quite a bit. A lot of people have been comparing between the Tech and the Int Super Saiyan 4 Gogeta. So tell us your thoughts on the Tech one.
I feel like the Tech one's just better. Like, I've seen people, like, kind of trying to compare the two. Me, personally, at the very least, when you get, like, 1 or 2 attacks to the Tech one, he's just easily outclasses it in one, I feel like. And, I mean, mine, personally, I guess my Tech Gogeta, he has, like, 22k attack because of the equips I have on him. So maybe that influences things a little, but it's still, he's just really insane. And I think what really causes that edge between them is the 70% counter chance on top of that. And the fact that I've seen him like at 200k plus starter turn defense, and he greatly raises. It's just like he has a 70% counter chance, but he doesn't even necessarily, like, even if he doesn't get it off, he still tanks extremely well, right? I would say the only argument maybe I have for the Int one is the fact that he's always super effective, but the Tech one could do like 7 million attack stats at times and could be super effective.
I don't know exactly how his passive works. That little, like, because it seems like as he's getting additional supers in a turn, his damage is jumping way too high. Like I swear that 50%. Like I don't think it caps at 50% on that turn. I think it's just going into the next turn. Because Tech Gogeta, he gets up to like 8 million. It doesn't make any sense when he starts additional supering.
Yeah, mine went from like 3.9 to like 5.5.
It's a separate calculation. So it's not like 50%, it's larger than that. It's 15% on top of that 150% start of turn, right? So
it's the same way that if units that get hit in the turn, they get extra boost. It's the same way that's calculated.
Or like on super attack buffs, right? You know, like say 100% attack and defense on super. It's kind of like that, right? Where it's an outer turn-ish buff, so...
But yeah, I would say it's not like people are acting like Int Gogeta is just completely fodder now. Like it's not that far and away that Tech Gogeta is better. The main thing is the 70% chance. I've found to be so much more reliable than the 50% chance. Like, not even close, like just far and away. Like he just feels like he never doesn't get it, right? Like it's crazy.
The one thing that people don't even really talk about ever is the attack lowering for extreme class enemies. Like in Super Battle Road, that just, in my opinion, makes this one way better.
Yes, especially with this counter chance to being higher, because there's multiple enemies, so there's more chance you will get super attacked too, right? So that great chance is even more effective in there.
Yeah, definitely. He's definitely seems very good, and yeah, 70% chance to counter a super is pretty damn good. So Joker, out of these EZAs, we're going to talk about the Omega Shenron next. Have you got Omega and got him EZA'd on your JP?
I have finished his EZA, but he's not even awakened. He's still level 1 for me.
Oh.
Because I don't have a GT Bosses team. I don't have a Shadow Dragons team, so he's kind of low on the totem pole, unfortunately.
You don't have a GT Bosses team. What are you talking
I know,
about?
it's weird.
Yeah, there's a lot of units you could use for that team, though.
Isn't there? I
Yeah,
mean,
like-
there's
like
so many
the
options. I've so much time
Yeah,
spent
Physical
Dokkan Awakening
Sin.
them.
You know, you could run the free-to-play Baby Saga units. You know. The
I know.
Baby
Well,
Dokkan.
I'm really banking on Battlefield to give me enough coin to get me the LR Shadow Dragons. That'll really help it out.
So Omega to me seems really, really good. It's just Gogeta has that 70% chance to counter, which is just like, in my opinion, that's one of like the strongest abilities in the game. That
Yeah.
super attack 70% counter.
Yep.
And it's Omega's strong, right? Like, I don't. He's strong. He's just a better version of Physical Cooler, but he's not like doing anything unique, right? He's just really goddamn good. I guess is how it's.
Yeah, he's just like stats and just that's it, right?
Yeah.
He doesn't like lower. Well, he does have the lower attack, right, which is good in Super Battle Road, I would say.
Yeah, he actually reminds me even more than Physical Cooler. He reminds me of the STR Kid Buu that just came out. Because of the defense raise on super attack. His start of turn defense when you have him fully built up was like 300 and was like 60k,
The only thing
80k.
with that is like Kid Buu is like, he just needs that active skill, right? He's got to get hit as well. Once he gets that active skill off, that's the Kid Buu everyone thinks about.
Well, that's why I'm saying they're similar, because they both take time to ramp up and stuff like that.
Yeah.
And then they all both have the ridiculous defense buffs on their super attack.
Yeah,
Their start of turn defense is like 380k, plus they could super 3 times and raise their defense on each one.
Yeah,
Like,
I was going
by
to say, I've had
90%,
turns where
right?
Omega's start of turn is at 400k defense, yeah. And then he's raising defense, yeah, when he's
It's pretty nasty, and you could triple super and do like 8-9 million attack stats when fully built up. Like when he's fully built up, he's just a monster. I found it's pretty disgusting. It's just I feel like his issue is again, he doesn't have that many partners, right? It's like we have the Tech Cincher, which is really good for him, but I feel like the DT bosses just needs more for him, right?
Yeah. Yeah, it's the same, I guess, like we talked about with the Tech Sin last week. It's just the fact that the teams are so limited for where you can actually run the rotations. But obviously it's good Shadow Dragon Saga actually finally having a 170 leader. But yeah, so let us move on to the next one, which is the unit we have briefly mentioned, the Tech God Goku. So,
My goat.
well, Goresh, let's start off with you. God Goku's EZA, what are your thoughts?
I mean, he's kind of just like almost the perfect EZA because he does so much. He brings so much to the table. Damage reduction, orb changing, like great linking partner for the unit that you want to run him next to on all of their teams, right? It's the God Goku and Vegeta that just came out. Seals, right? He's doing so much utility, and he himself is not like hindering the team in any way by him being like mediocre, because he's not. He's hitting like 4 million attack stats with like 300,000 defense. Plus he's immune to damage if you're fighting the most common category enemy in the game. So I don't really know what else to say. That's it. He's stupid.
Yeah,
I agree. I don't. They're like almost all units. I could look at it and be like, I mean, if only this or that or this or that. I actually have no complaints about God Goku at all. I think they did him perfect.
I mean,
Yeah, I wasn't able to beat Pure Saiyan's SBR before this, or ESBR, and then I awakened him, threw him in there, and I was like, oh. This now
Speaking of
becomes
that
too
stage,
easy.
I posted a clip on Twitter about that, and
Did ya?
he took nearly double digits from that stage. And keep in mind, in the Pure Saiyan stage, there's no Pure Saiyan or Movie Boss as enemies, so that just shows you how good he is already by himself as a tank without even needing that damage reduction. I feel like you could like run him against a Pure Saiyan's enemy, because that 77% damage reduction is such a big number, right?
yeah.
He's like kind of like a new Tech Khalifa in a sense, because he also has he has an amazing link set. He has the orb changing. He could seal too. He just absurd, right? He's just a nasty unit, and there's nothing I could say about him that I don't like. He's just a great design.
Yeah, he kind of almost like he replaces the Tech Khalifa meme, because obviously everyone would just throw her on a team in EZAs and stuff against Pure Saiyans, and you know, she doesn't really, even if she doesn't fit on the team, and then even if she is under the leader skill, she's not a unit that really does a lot of damage or anything. Whereas this Goku is going to be not only the ridiculous tank, but he fits well on a lot of these teams. He has good links. He does reasonable damage as well. I remember when I was reading the translations from our boy over here, Goresh, as soon as I got to that part of his passive where it's like because it was movie bosses before, and it was like movie bosses or Pure Saiyans, it's like, oh, Okay, so the large majority of the game then, basically. So that is a pretty insane addition for him. Very
One
strong
thing I
card.
want to bring up too is the fact that, if we're talking about like Tech Caulifla, there's a lot of stages that cancel dodging now, but God Goku won't ever have to worry about that because it's just pure damage
He just
reduction.
gets damage
right?
reduction, yeah. Yeah, and that's the thing, like you said, is even in stages where he doesn't have it, like his defense is already very good. So then you just throw on, that 77% damage reduction as well, and yeah, he's just not going to be taking damage from anyone. So then that brings us on to God Vegeta. So the ritual, the habit of Dokkan releasing or upgrading these Goku and Vegeta units that come out at the same time, and Vegeta always getting the shaft. So God Vegeta. Truth, now obviously people are immediately gonna underrate him because of just the direct comparison to God Goku and the crazy buffs that he got. But what are your thoughts on this God Vegeta?
I would say he's a lot better than people think. And the reason he's gonna struggle is also not the reason people think. People are automatically gonna look at him and the 50% chance to guard, which, I mean, obviously, yeah.
Yeah.
Ningen, you could tell me how to about them 50% chance to guard.
High chance to
units,
guard.
right?
I love it. I love it.
Yeah, but the bigger issue for God Vegeta is that he is good when the second part of his passive is active when he gets hit. The problem is they only gave that to him for 3 turns, so you're gonna have it a lot where that is not up, and thus both his attack and defense aren't really gonna be that impressive. If that part of his passive is up, he could not guard and he could still be serviceable. But if he's not guarding and he hasn't been hit, he's not going to be that impressive. That's where he'll struggle, right? Whereas Super Saiyan 4 Gogeta gets that super attack buff for 5 turns. That's what God Vegeta needed instead of 3 turns as well.
I would also say on top of that, I would have also, because like with the support and everything like that, I found him like when his full passive is up, he's like around 240k defense, which is not bad if you have the guard active, but without the guard, it's like you said, it's serviceable, but it's not like anything too like amazing, fantastic, right? So I would say if he like at least, even if it's just for a 1-turn raise of defense, because you get triple super attack, he does have that medium chance to additional super. So if you get that triple super attack turn, I mean, like in Pure Saiyan's Extreme Super Battle, mine was hitting like 5-6 million attack stats, right? And he got a triple super attack, which could be very nasty. So if he had that defense raise on top of that, he would be even good without the guard active, right? I just feel like if it was more consistency, either like increasing that turn restriction, making the guard more consistent, or even just the raising defense, he just needed just that little extra push to really be on these other units level. But maybe they were just kind of scared of him for some reason. I'm not too sure,
Yeah, it seems strange to like when you compare the two side by side. Like the initial reaction of just from reading what they did, it seems like there's a crazy gap between the buffs that they got. And considering, I guess we have just started talking about it a little bit, but do you think at this point, now that we've seen multiple units get EZAs where they've kept this mechanic rather than upgrading it to like being a guarantee, do you think they're just essentially afraid to give units guaranteed guard at this point?
Totally.
I feel like they're definitely more like specialized towards it. Go on, Joker. What were you gonna say?
I mean, Tech Gohan, as much as all memes aside, is still a very good unit who has guaranteed guard. But when is the last time a unit with guaranteed guard has come out? I mean, we got the Janembas, we've got Tech Gohan, but after that, we've always, like, the Super Saiyan 3 Trunks kept the 50% guard chance. This God Vegeta has kept the 50% guard chance. And at this point, I think Dokkan is just like, we cannot give another unit 100% guard.
I wouldn't necessarily say 100% of that, but I feel like they realized how special it is and are kind of withholding it until they really want to give it to a unit. Like you said, like LR Janemba, like even he doesn't guard in the 3rd slot, right? I feel like they're being much more careful with that mechanic because they probably see Tech Gohan and how relevant he is now, and they're like, oh.
It's
right?
It's not just him. Remember, Janemba got that easy and he was good. He's starting to taper off now. He came out in 2018. He got his easy.
Yep.
Yeah,
Right,
they don't
like-
want units to have that much longevity. They want people to keep summoning because you just run Tech Gohan forever and ever and ever. And yeah, they keep buffing Hybrid Saiyans. And I'm
Well, no,
sure
Tech
that,
Gohan sucks. He sucks. He's bad.
Well, okay, sorry.
damage sucks, right?
Tech Gohan is trash
Yeah, he's
with guard. But, Janemba is the god. But
I guess the way you put it just then, I think, is probably actually kind of it does strike a chord a little bit, because it's the longevity, because it is a meme, like, all of the trashing of Tech Gohan aside, but it kind of is a meme at this point that with his guard and the fact that Hybrid Saiyans is so powerful, you can just build a team that is him and then a team of Hybrid Saiyans that have type advantage over the specific enemy, and then you can beat every event in the game with that team. So
Even the red zone.
yeah, so I guess maybe you're right. Like, they don't want you. If they keep bringing out these units and they're giving them 100% chance to guard, then it means you're going to be able to use those units to consistently beat all like new difficult content that comes out. So it'll be interesting to see, because obviously the big one that we've all been waiting for a long time is when STR Ultimate Gohan gets his EZA. So it'll be interesting to see if what will actually happen with that.
I want to say about that is, if you really look at it, most of these units that have been getting chances to guard are like banner units, not like LRs or Dokkan Fest. They maybe that because these are banner units, they're only getting the chances, and then maybe like the Dokkan Fest EZAs or the LRs, they'll be more lenient towards them, right? Because they're, again, Dokkan Fest and LRs. So that could be a reason why as well, because I could see Gohan getting like at least a high chance guard for that start Gohan, but I could see him more like, I feel like it uses more, and it makes more sense if he gets a guarantee guard over like the banner unit Super Saiyan 3 Trunks or God Vegeta, right? But maybe that's just me coping for my Gohan, right?
I mean, I don't think you're wrong. It's just that the time gap of Dokkan Fest units that have guaranteed guard has now become very, very, very wide. And so I think that's how they're coping with it. It's like, yes, they will give the banner units 50% chance to guard, or they'll give LR Janemba, guard everywhere but slot 3, so he's still kind of limited in that. But they're still not dropping Dokkan Fest left and right with guaranteed guard, and I don't think they ever will. But I think that's kind of how they artificially block us from having those kinds of units now.
Yeah, because I'm surprised we haven't seen any of these units that have a high chance to guard EZAing and getting like great chance to guard if they're not going to give them guarantee. But it seems all the recent ones have just been capped at the 50%.
I just wish you could know when it was.
Yeah, I was just
activated
gonna say,
at
and
the
you
time.
don't even know. Yeah.
Like, that's I'd be more better with it. Like, I'd be more fine with a high chance if you knew it was activated or not. But since you don't know, you kind of have to chance it. And it's like, say you're like in the second stage of Pure Saiyan's Extreme Super Battle Road, and you're just like, there's a bunch of attacks in the front slot, and it's like, okay, could I put God Vegeta here or no? Right? It's like, at that point, since you have to guess on it, it almost feels like you don't ever have the guard. You have to assume you're not going to have it, so it just makes it even less valuable, right?
Yeah, 100%. That's definitely something that would be nice to see, but I guess that's something that we talked about a while, even on previous episodes, but who knows, maybe one day. So we got those 4 new EZAs. We also have 4 new missions that have released, 2 for the GT Legendary Goku event and 2 for the Legendary Vegeta event. So Truth, we've got the GT Legendary Goku event. We have GT Bosses and GT Heroes. So we were just talking about the GT Bosses category. So what do you think of these 2 missions in general and how difficult they will be for the majority of people?
Well, they made the one that's super easy, and one is not going to be so super easy.
Yeah.
That's how I'd say that.
So the easy one is GT Bosses, right?
Oh, yeah,
that's,
definitely.
100%.
Yeah, so GT Heroes obviously is an insane team. GT Bosses has had some buffs, but is still an interesting looking team. So how was your runs for this one?
I have not actually gotten around to trying these much. I've tried GT Bosses once while we're doing this podcast, and I made it to Tech Goku with 1 health bar before he caught me. So now I'm on my second run of this. But like besides that, I haven't even really given these much time. The thing that's going to be more of an issue, I think, is finding a GT boss's friend.
Yeah.
I feel like that's the true difficulty.
I mean, with me, I had Sunblade. He had a Super 17 setup, so I just kind of beat it in one try.
Oh, that's Sunblades. Okay.
Yeah, that was Sunblades, right? He was like, "Good luck with your runs," and I was like, "Okay, thank you."
I'm gonna, you know what? I'm gonna put mine up as well. That's I should do that. Okay.
I mean, I'll put mine up, but he's like 55%, so.
Then don't even bother. then leave him off.
Yeah, I'll keep my Tech Gohan there. Is that better?
Yeah. Yes, please.
Yes. My
No,
go.
the best. Damn, they're the best
Super
team in the
17,
game.
he's a pretty good option because he could absorb the Key Super from the in Super Saiyan 4 Goku.
Yeah, totally, right?
Yeah, just like he did in the show. So he should totally be able to do that, right?
Yeah, definitely, right? One thing I will say is I feel like Omega hard carries in that stage, like the physical Omega. He destroys the int phase, and he just does so much damage against the Tech Super Saiyan 4 Goku, even still. I would say that also the int Shadow Dragon LR are very important because they have type advantage and they help support the Omega, right? So it made that mission more bearable. I feel like people may think it's worse than it actually is. I beat it in my first try, but maybe that's just me. I'm just built different, right? But people will definitely struggle with it because it's just so limited options. Like if you don't have like LR Super 17 or something like that, or even the Shadow Dragons, you'll like what kind of leader are you gonna run, right? So there could be some issues, right?
You can, I guess technically, I'm just looking at the list of the units and what the crossover is, but you could run a full Shadow Dragons team using double physical Omega. That would be an interesting build for that run. So,
I think you can, right? I personally
Well,
didn't
let me
because
take
I
a
actually
look at
don't
this.
have Texan Shenron.
yeah, because
So
all
I
of the
didn't even-
Shadow Dragons are on GT bosses, so technically you would be
So
able to.
you could go. Let me just in my box. Okay, so you go Omega, both Sins, LR Shadow Dragon. You do Oceanus, and then I guess you're running. Well, you'd have to run Tech Nova then.
I mean,
that
yeah,
could be
physical
a
Sin
bit
carries,
spicy.
so it should be okay.
Yeah, physical sin, yeah, definitely.
What about physical Nova, man?
Well, okay. Here we go. Physical Sin will be all right in there. He's
Yeah, he
not going to
will.
be the problem. He's okay. He's okay.
Truth
He's
is,
many,
better than
uh,
I will. Sin Shenron, get behind me, bruh. All right, I got this. He's okay. He's not that.
So, how many dupes for the LR Shadow Dragons can you get at the moment on JP?
4. Oh, wait, 3
well,
dupes, right?
well, four is yeah.
Four
Yeah,
Four
four,
is
four
all-
copies, so 3 dupes. So 90%. So yeah, that's not too bad. So they hopefully they should be okay. But yeah, that'd be an
mean-
interesting.
Oh yeah. They're
Interesting
fine
build.
because they're good. They're a good unit. They're good.
Yeah.
Mine wasn't even max links, right? And I still beat it, right? So it's fine. I didn't even have Texan Shenron either, so there is options you could run. By the way, I've seen a lot of people bring up the Int GT Frieza, that free to play unit. Don't bring
No.
them.
Dude.
Don't bring them.
Yeah, no. If they give them awakenings, they'll be solid options. That's the real problem for GT bosses. Is I think as Goresh mentioned this, there's no free to play units besides the LR. It's just all premium summon unit.
Yeah, I'm just
Oh, real
looking at that in
though.
Frieza. He's got damage reduction, but he has no defense. So what?
STR, what is it, like Super Meta Rildo or something? Like, like the really like ancient character.
Yeah. Well, I was thinking about the summonable Roto, right? But
Oh,
yeah,
yeah.
we're
Well, I was talking
free-to-play
about because I was talking
units.
about like what free to play units are on that team, and that was like the only one that I think of was the,
Oh,
like
don't
Hyper
forget-
Super Rildo or whatever. his
Don't-
name is.
Yeah, the one
How
with the
could
drill,
you?
right?
How could you forget about the Int Ice Shenron, the only Ice Shenron in the game? Come
Well, okay, that's actually not a joke. He's good.
What about the free to play
Dude,
baby?
he was a
Vegeta?
part of like the OG mono int team with like Buhan as the lead. He lowered attack and you couldn't die.
on. Yep. And he still, and he still doesn't have a T. You are awakening. So
I specifically remember there was somebody that like beat the physical Broly Dokkan event with mono int, and it took him like hours to beat it or something because that physical Broly doesn't take damage.
Yeah, I remember
Nice.
there was a discussion back in the day about Buhan versus Vegito, and it's just because Buhan's team just didn't die, right? Couldn't lose if
Yeah.
you use it correctly.
yeah.
Man, I don't know
Alright,
about
well-
y'all, but I ran that STR Omega squad. He was out here lowering attack. Woo!
Yeah, STR Omega was actually, I think, how I have finally managed to beat that Broly event because of the defense lowering. But yeah, so the 2 new missions for the GT Goku event, appropriately GT themed, and then we have 2 new missions for the legendary Vegeta event, Super Saiyan 2 and Margin Power. So, Joker, have you tried either of these new missions?
I tried Majin Power, but my team is pretty much relying on Boo tanks, and every other unit is just getting wasted because Boo Piccolo, his 30% chance to dodge is okay, but his defense at this point isn't that great, and he's not Link level 10, so he's missing out on a lot of stats right there. And then I'm down to like Evil Boo and the Tech Buff Boo, who are just not good enough for that stage right now. So it's wrecking me on that front too. As far as Super Saiyan 2, I don't have a team. I don't have Majin Vegeta.
Okay.
For Majin Power, all you need is Janembu, him stacking by 25 dodge Janembu or something. He's gonna be eating. You already know.
Yeah, Janembu definitely going to be a good option for that. Because that's the problem with, I guess, Margin. Because I've tried, because I really like Boo Tanks and the Margin Power team. I tried running it on Global on the Vegeta event when it first came out, like just for fun. And the major issue is the fact there's just not a lot of great units to have on your main rotation, like to go with Boo Tanks. So obviously on JP, you got STR Kid Boo.
Yeah, Kid Boo he's the best unit on the team.
Yep.
And
he's significantly better than Buhan.
Yeah, and then
You just have to be careful with that super at the end, right?
Yeah, exactly. The AGL super attack from Blue Evolution Vegeta. And then Minato, have you done either or both of these? What about the Super Saiyan 2 one? How difficult did you find that one?
Super Saiyan 2 is just easy. I just ran a full technical and Khalifa team.
Okay,
It's like
fair.
you just with the double tech and Khalifa with the 60% heal. It's like, how do you lose, right? And you could run. There's like other options for like a pure Super Saiyan 2 team. Like you could run the physical transforming Super Saiyan 2 Goku. A2 LR Gon still works fine because he stacks up. There's like Super Saiyan 2 has like a billion options, right? It's like. Why would you? It's just difficult to lose if you have the options, right? I understand if you don't have all the options, stuff like that, but yeah, but if you do have the options, physical Kefla is another unit, right? The LR Kel and Khalifa, it's like just a stupid team, Super Saiyan 2. The only issue is that it needs a new leader, but you can get away with the Tech Mod Vegeta leader because at least he could guard and he has top advantage at the end, right? So that's fine, right? But I just hate how he loses prepared for battle for Overwind and Flash, so that's why I just kind of went with the Count Khalifa squad. I think that worked very well. Majin Power I haven't tried though, but Majin Power is gonna be easy, right? I feel like, to me anyways.
Ooh, it must be nice.
Yeah, just get a good account. What are you talking about?
Yeah, just okay. Just I'm running GT bosses. Physical Sin Shenron 247k defense turn 1. Like, you could take that.
You also because with the text in Shenron he gets rainbow orbs, right? Because I believe physical Shenron doesn't he get like a guaranteed crit when he gets like a lot of orbs or something? The physical one.
Yeah. On the 1.5 million attack sack guaranteed crit,
Dude,
baby.
Hey,
his damage is
Let's go.
out of this world. It's so good.
Hey, with that crit, man, that'll be 3 mil, right?
He's cooking. He's cooking.
Let's go. Okay, so the only other thing we have left now to talk about is just a very brief little bit of speculation here about the Part 2 LR. So we have a Part 2 live stream confirmed for the 15th.
It's a video. It's a video.
Then, it's a video, okay.
Yep.
And then
Oh, it's not a live stream? Oh, boy.
Yeah, it's just a video.
So like, just going to skip to the end, okay.
Like the first details they give us on the LRs, that type of thing.
Yep.
Okay,
And
I
so
see.
also we have here, the sales are resetting on the 17th. So we would assume that that's when the banners are then going to come out. So if you guys had to make any final guesses on who we're going to see for the Part 2 LRs, what would your guesses be?
I got you right here, buddy.
All right, go for it.
Blue Gogeta and full power Broly. That's it. That's what it is. Yep. Triple Gogeta
Nothing
anniversary.
from GT.
Triple Gogeta.
GT is gone enough.
Yeah.
GT needs more.
GT bosses is good enough, all right?
All right, yeah, well, we don't have to talk about that. But
I'm thinking an LR Omega in here.
I feel like it's gonna be Goku and Vegeta related somehow, right? One of the Part 2 LRs at the very least. It's just like I don't know. I could see an LR Omega, right? Like I told this. I think I said this once or twice, but like I don't think this is one of the likely options. But Resurrection F. I just want Resurrection F so bad, right? I don't think that would be as like hype as like Gogeta Blue and Broly. But I think it's possible. Or Saiyan Saga as well. I've seen a lot of people bring that up, right? Because of the loading screen.
I don't know. I don't think we're gonna see like Saiyan Saga Resurrection F, like one of those wildly different arcs. I don't think so.
I mean, for Part 2 LRs for the
Dude,
anniversary,
people
they kind
saying
of did
Saiyan
random,
Saga
right?
for Part 2, like that's just drugs, man. Lay off the drugs, please.
They did Broly, Chilai, and Lemo, right? This
Yeah, but they were from the Broly movie, right? Like that's not. They didn't go. All right, here's Tien from the Saiyan Saga for Part 2 LR. Like,
yeah,
come
but
on.
it's
Right,
a
the
Goku
answer-
and Vegeta celebration, right?
The answer is Ice Shenron, and then the art is his arms just crossed, and he's just staring you down with his like red eyes, just like beating into your soul. That's it.
Yeah, just
All
like
of his
Legends.
attack
Yeah,
animations
that's like
are
the
really going to be
Legends one,
animated
right?
great.
Yeah,
And he'll get
Instant
get-
a massively lower attack on 12.
guarantee Chris against Pepe Gals, right?
Yeah. Yeah.
All right, so obviously we will find out more when the video releases on the 15th, so definitely going to be interesting to see. Speculation has been all over the place because obviously, you know, we've got the combination of GT and the Broly movie, but also the main theme is Goku and Vegeta, so all up in the air at the moment, so it'll be very interesting to see what it is going to be. And we should have that information by the next episode, so make sure you don't miss that, and we will be talking about what has been revealed in a lot more detail. So that brings us to the time of the episode where we will go for a short break. So grab a drink, go to the bathroom, whatever you need to do, and then when we come back, we have some questions that we took from you guys over on the Twitter. So we put a tweet out before the episode, a few days before. Make sure you guys are following us over there if you want to submit questions to be answered on the podcast. So we will be back very soon to answer your questions. We'll be right back. Okay, so we are back. Going to go through a couple of questions to wrap up this episode for the week. So we are going to go ahead and start off with our first question here that comes to us from Vegeta's app. And his question is, thoughts on how LR Evolution Blue Vegeta is evaluated in the community? So I thought this would be an interesting one. Truth, why don't you start us off?
I feel like a lot of people, they just have no idea what they're talking about. It's just that simple. A lot of people, I feel like, I've always felt this way, really underrate the revive mechanic. I mean, it literally is a get out of jail free card. Vegeta has one of the easier ones to activate. You want to know what event you could easily revive with Vegeta in? Is the Ultimate Red Zone, where a lot of these, you start out fighting like these, you know, movie minions who are hit like bitches. Salza, Lord Slug's minions, they all hit like bitches. So you could easily rack up your 7 hits for Vegeta, get your revive in. He could do lots of damage with his crits. You know, he's poorly designed for sure. No one's arguing that, but he is much better than people act like he is. 100%.
I mean, I would say, even though he's not actually under the 200% leader skills, you can still run him under that team, and that team still has a lot of extra HP, and all your other units have much more defense. So even though those first 3 hits, he could definitely take a lot of damage. Once he's able to rack up that damage reduction, it's honestly not that bad, because he takes like maybe in Pure Saiyan's Extreme Super Router, he takes like 100k normal on the first attack, but you have like 600-700k HP, so it's like, okay, right? And once he builds up his damage reduction, he's perfectly fine. He has the revive, which, like you said, no one talks about. And the high chance to crit on his super attacks, like people bring up his attacks and they're like, oh, he's hitting like a 4 million attack stat here. But that high chance to crit is very good too, right?
Yeah.
You can triple super.
Him and UI Goku have always punched above their attack stats, right?
Yep. I just feel like, again, his design is not, like, people look at the design like, oh, the design sucks, so the unit's bad, right? And it's not the case. Like he's just strong enough, just his stats alone are very, very good regardless, right? Even though his design is kind of wonky, I will agree.
Yeah. Goresh, what do you think?
Yeah, I just think, especially recently, because I really only started seeing this like major backlash against this character starting from the anniversary. And for me, my takeaway from that is just because he's not on the new leader skill, so he's inherently missing like a major stat. He's missing, what is it, 60% extra leader skill buff?
Yeah.
As compared to like all the other units. So people are looking at Vegeta, and then they're looking at like, you know, a Goku unit like who has all those categories fulfilled for the leader skill, the full leader skill buff, and they're like, oh my god, Vegeta is like, he's bad. When it's not an even playing field. And this sort of reminds me back when the category system first came out, and you had these units that just weren't on categories, and you couldn't run them. You couldn't really compare them to units that were on categories because it was a completely separate game for those characters, right? You had them on the 120 teams, and it's like, how are you going to compare a unit that's only on a 120 team compared to a unit that's on a 170 team? It's impossible. And so I feel like that's where we're at right now again. Like, this is the first time we've had a leader skill meta update since 5 years ago, right?
Yeah.
So I feel like we're back in that same situation now where you just can't compare characters that are under this leader skill compared to characters that don't have it yet. So
It is pretty insane to think that the highest buff has been 177%, and that came out in 2018.
Yeah. Yeah, I think one of the things as well is the because I think he is. I don't think he's the greatest unit, obviously, but I do believe that he is a bit underrated in general. Do you think one of the big differences, because I feel like I've started to think this when we look at the two new anniversary units, and obviously they do have their minor differences, but they are very, very similar. So in terms of like comparing the two, they are at a very similar level, whereas I kind of feel like UI Goku always just seemed much better than Blue Evolution Vegeta. Do you think?
Yep, because he was just not good.
yeah, but going back to just the whole thing of like Evolution Blue Vegeta, because I see people saying like, I don't remember where I saw this, but there was like this thing going around where like, LR Super Saiyan 4 Goku is now better than Evolution Blue Vegeta or something like that. And it's like, are you saying that because the unit is better, or are you saying that because he's better under this new leader skill that's not comparable to Vegeta at all?
Yeah, that is what people are saying now, yeah. Because it's...
I mean, like,
So
those greater than Simba posts.
Yep.
I hate those.
I mean, I sort of get the mentality behind it, because they're just saying in terms of who are you going to run in an event. Obviously, you're going to run the units that fit under the 200% leader skill, but you're not comparing them on a level playing field. So it is a bit of a strange comparison, yeah. So... All right, well, there you go. That was our first question. So thank you to Vegeta's app. Let us move on to the next one.
Yeah, shout out to Vegeta's app, man.
Yep. So, so the second question comes to us from Big Blue J, who says, do you guys think Global is going to release 200% leaders before the anniversary? I wouldn't mind if they did it with the movie characters from the superhero movie. So we did talk about that briefly before with the Global sometimes getting these new things early. So do you think that the Golden Week, which potentially will be the superhero movie units, or Saiyan Day, do you think we could see that new leader skill come to Global early?
No. So what's going to happen is, like, say Saiyan Day, right? You're going to get the unit. They're going to have the double leader skill for the category. Then there's going to be a section at the end that's blurred out, and then they're going to unblur it when the actual leader skills drop, right?
Second part to be released.
Yeah.
All I know is I'm hoping that they release one of those leader skills, because I think if they do 200% for these anniversary LRs, but then don't do it to any other units, that's going to be bad. Really bad. So I am hoping that several units come out on Global with 200% before the anniversary.
I think it's possible, because if you take a look at how it's gone so far, people are going to hold all their stones for the anniversary, and that's not what gacha games want you to do. They want you to summon, and, you know, as much as people like future Trunks and, you know, future Gohan, it's not going to make them money in between now and July. And so I think it's in their best interest to be a business and make money is to drop very hype leader skills, especially if you're going to collab with a new movie that's coming out, when we haven't had one since DBS Broly. So I think it'll be, I think if they don't release a 200% leader skill on Global before the anniversary, they're gonna just miss out on a crap ton of revenue.
It's interesting too, because I mentioned earlier, we haven't really been in this position where there's been power creep in the form of a leader skill since like Super Saiyan 4 Gogeta, right? So right now, up until this point, basically throughout the past like 2 years of the category meta, I would argue that most people were not summoning for leader skills. Because a lot of these leader skills that we're getting, a lot of these new categories that we've been getting are just like fodder categories. Like they're not really that interesting or good.
Yep.
But now, like with this new update, you know, it's back to the point where you actually are going to be summoning for leader skills again. So it does change the dynamic of who you want to summon for and who you want to save for. Like if there's a new leader skill that comes out where it's like, oh, finally, you know, LR full power Frieza can finally be under a 200% leader skill. I want to summon just because of that now. That's actually like a thing that you have to consider when you summon now.
Yeah, 100%. Okay, so that was question number 2. Thank you to Big Blue J. Let us move on to the third question here that comes to us from Kuzo. So he says, do you think there should be a way to obtain a free dupe path for any unit in the game, let's say once every 3 months or less, completely free to every user unless you feel like it should be paid for? So this is, I think we talked about this a long time ago, but the idea of basically being able to open a dupe path for essentially any unit. Do you think this is something that we could potentially ever see in the future?
I doubt it. If they're not going to drop pity in this game, I don't think they'd let us just have a free dupe.
Yeah, currently I would say no. I don't think so.
They wouldn't do it for free, but I think the only way we would see something like this in the game was if it was a paid thing. Like, if you could pay a certain amount of money to get an item that unlocked a dupe path.
Like you know how they have the purple stones for sale. They can introduce like a new type of stone.
Well, yeah.
And with that
Well,
stone, you
I'm
can
equating
exchange,
this
right?
to I'm equating this to the Super Chrono Crystal in Legends, which
I
lets
was
you
just
get Z
about to
power.
say, yeah. And then it's like the free Legends limited Z power they give us what, like 100? Yeah.
Yeah, and you could buy like 2,000. You could buy 2,000 over Legends Festival, and it was like a massive game change. That's 3 copies of a unit, pretty much.
The purple stone on the Super Chrono Crystal is a little similar because you could buy the characters with the Chrono Crystal, right? If I'm not mistaken. They just need to add more options to it, right? And make it more similar to that.
Yeah, because the reason I thought it was kind of an interesting question is because one of the things that we see, and I see people say this a lot, is some of these older units, like for example, you know, Physical Omega Tech Super Saiyan 4 Gogeta, they just got their EZA, so obviously they are available at the moment. But after this, like, when are they ever going to be on a banner again? Like, there's a lot of units that you don't really see come around very often. So I feel like this kind of thing could be useful for units like that. But I feel like if it's something that just lets you open a path for any unit, it's a bit too generous, because obviously the ideal units to use them on are then going to be like LRs over TURs. So it's definitely something that I could see happening, but not for free.
Yeah, not for free. Yeah, I agree.
Yeah. So interesting question. Thank you, Kuzo. Maybe one day we'll see. But yeah, like Joker said, we don't have a pity yet. So who knows? Maybe one day. But this next one comes to us from Sippin' Hot Cocoa. I thought this would be a pretty cool one because this is obviously a new feature that has been added to the game that I think we all appreciate and definitely opens the door for a lot of different things. So he says, what are our most anticipated entry animations? So I'll go along the line at the bottom of the screen. So we'll start with Minato. If you could pick one, what is your most anticipated entry animation?
So I would like the Super Saiyan God ritual. I think that would be really cool, right? Where they're just all sitting around there and then just power up God Goku, just flies them to the air and gets that the whole God aura floating off there. Another one that could be really cool is like Resurrection F Blue Goku. I think I really like the transformation scene that he does.
Yeah.
It was like blue crystal, like kind of just like shattering around and just dissipating. I always thought
yeah,
because
now
cool,
like
right?
it doesn't have to actually be like a transforming unit to do stuff like that now. Yeah, true.
Yeah, because the gods come in as base, don't they? And they go Super Saiyan and then into God. So, so Truth, what about you?
Actually, one I was thinking about that I feel like would be really good is Frieza getting up after getting hit by the Spirit Bomb. I feel like would be a great intro
Yes.
animation.
Yeah, Goresh.
I like that one.
I feel like I was kind of actually thinking that maybe that would be the one Goresh would pick. But, But yeah, Goresh, what's another one for you that you would love to see?
Oh, dude, I have so many. Like, this nobody else is gonna want this but me probably. But
Okay.
I don't know why I love this scene so much. But when Piccolo flies in to fight Second Form Frieza, that like white aura that he has when he just like flies in and zooms in, he's just that's so sick to me. That is one I want. I want the one where Goku arrives on Namek to fight Frieza, like the one where he like zooms from the ship all the way to the battlefield. That one, I definitely need that. Some kind of Demon King Piccolo one where he's on the TV, I'm thinking would be pretty good. Like it starts off with him and then it like slowly zooms out a little bit and it's the TV screen. Like, that would be pretty cool.
Yeah, that would be cool.
Someone said Kid Goku fighting DKP.
Yeah, Kid Goku doing the drum kick. That would be good.
Yes.
So Joker, what about you?
I kind of like a new version of Cell with an intro animation, maybe kind of along the lines of him being on the broadcast station and him just blowing a hole through the building.
We should get a Cell Games Cell, and his intro animation is him backhanding Hercule off into the mountain.
Or one of those, yeah, that too.
I saw someone say like second form Cell, like an intro animation of him absorbing 18 and then going perfect Cell.
Yeah, because like we were saying, the thing that makes it so interesting is because it's kind of like you can have transformations for units who are not, like, they don't transform into that form. So like we said with the gods, they start off as Super Saiyan God, Vegeta and Goku, but they transform in their intro animation. So the Havens opens the door for things like for, you know, a fusion, like if we get a new Vegito, but he could have an intro animation of Goku and Vegeta fusing. So definitely opens up a lot of options.
Universe 6 Blue Falcon Goku. We haven't had one of those in like since the AGO one, right?
Dude, I actually really want another one of those so bad.
Me too. That would be a really cool dual Dokkan Fest. Him and Hit.
Yeah, one that I thought of today actually that I thought would be kind of cool because it ties back into a little bit of what we've talked about potentially coming for the future with these things like new mechanics coming to global. Although we were talking about the leader skills more specifically, but what if when we get the movie units? Now obviously we need to know more details about the movie and all that kind of stuff. But everybody's obviously pretty hyped up about that clip from the trailer where Gohan takes off his glasses and then goes Super Saiyan. Like we could get a movie unit Gohan that has that as his like intro animation. That would be pretty awesome to see. So
we also know that they're okay with doing these for like free-to-play characters because the LR has it. So
yeah, exactly. So definitely a lot of interesting things that we could see. So great question from Sippin' Hot Cocoa. So let us move on to the last one for this week that comes to us from Quintil Man, who says, and again, I thought this would be an interesting discussion question to end us off here. So, what is a unit that has aged better than most people give credit for? So, Minato, what do you think?
I mean, I said this earlier, but I was like, Blue Evolution Vegeta. Everyone is saying like he sucks now, right? And it's like, that's not really true. Honestly, I would kind of a little argue the 5-year Blue Fusion in terms of long events, especially now that they're kind of under and long events specifically. Right?
Enough out of you.
And
This
long
guy,
events,
what the hell?
they're not that terrible once they're able.
I just tried to take them into the GT event and they got
Blue
smacked.
Vegito versus the Ultimate Red Zone. Let's see how that works out, buddy.
Oh my, okay, buddy. Not that event.
Sure, man.
I mean, like,
No, keep going.
In the legendary events, I think they're still pretty solid to use, right? And Tech Vegeta Blue does have the 200% leader skill. I think Gogeta does, right? Both of them do, so it's not that. I think they're not like completely garbage once they transform, right? They just need to build up a little. I think they're kind of. They're not good, but I feel like they're a little better than people really would think they are, right? My opinion.
Okay, Truth, what do you think?
Two options I have. I would say Physical Angel Golden Frieza. I feel like it's still very good. It's got a lot of tech that you could utilize. If you're under the HP threshold in gold, he'll be able to tank really well, I think, even in like Ultimate Red Zone and stuff like that. And then of course, I mean, the unit that people don't talk about ever, Physical Piccolo, right? It's still like solid. Scouter.
Yes.
Scouter is always good.
Dude, that Scouter effect is what makes him. And then he stacks too. It's insane.
Goresh, what do you think?
Well, mine was going to be Physical Piccolo too.
Oh.
Come back to me. I need to take a look through the
All right,
list.
Joker, what do you think? Do you have any ones that spring to mind?
Yeah, I was gonna say the physical LR Blue Boys. I mean, they can put up decent numbers. Now that we have Tech God Goku's EZA, now we have a reliable rainbow orb changer that he can feed, and they're under the 200% leader skill, and they have a good team now. You put them next to the new gods, and they share, I think, 4 or 5 links together, and then you have Tech God Goku as a floater, and they're looking really good still.
I think, yeah, on the 200% team, they do look rather good. Next to like the LR gods who could sit there in slot 1 or God Goku. I agree.
Yeah, I definitely think that they've been underrated for a while, because I hadn't really used them a huge amount until I used them in the ESBR Realm of Gods no item run, because even without getting like a double super, after they super attack, especially because they lower the attack of the enemy that they're attacking, like their defense is actually very solid. I think most people's major complaint was that they never had access to like a really good orb changer on some of their main teams. But yeah, that God Goku is a huge buff for them. One unit that I was thinking of was the Int Gotenks. I still think Int Gotenks is pretty good. Obviously he's not like, I'm not saying he's one of the best units in the game or anything, but I still think he's aged reasonably well. He's one of the only decent units I had on my fusion team on JP, so he's still okay, especially when you're getting off like, in the Super Saiyan form, you can get off those multiple super attacks, and then his defense is looking really good. And then transform into Super Saiyan 3 for the last couple of turns of the event, and he can put out some pretty decent damage. So, Goresh, did you have a? Did you come to a
I was just
decision?
gonna say it's hard to come up with these because like what constitutes aging well? A lot of these units are just EZAing at this point, right? But I would say physical Vegeta Blue. I think I would still put him in there.
Oh, that's a good one. Yeah.
Yeah, he still can be very, very good.
I was looking through the list, and I think like the tech blue Vegeta and the physical blue Goku, the orb changers that stack and nuke.
And the nukers?
Yeah, I think they've been aging pretty well. They came out like 2019 or something.
Yeah, definitely still good for long events, because obviously the stacking, they can give you tons of healing. The Goku's on the 200% leader skill team, so.
Yep.
Yeah, that's a good one from chat. STR Super Saiyan 3 Vegeta.
Yeah, but everyone talks about him. He's not.
I was gonna say we
he's not off
mentioned
the radar.
Yeah, we mentioned him during the break, because I feel like when it comes to like super battle, basically any event that is shorter than 10 turns, he's like I think people do still talk about him a little bit, but
It's like
man, if he
AGL
didn't
Golden
have that
Frieza.
10 turn restriction, he would still be.
Dude, AGL Golden Frieza is literally just like Tech Khalifa for every event.
Yeah.
Yeah.
With an HP restriction.
Except for the God event, because you can't run him there, right? Because he has the duking leader skill, right?
he
They
does.
ban him.
So you can use the Tech Golden Frieza.
Yeah.
True.
Yeah, he's like the only unit in Movie Boss's ESBR pretty much that just takes no damage. So he's very, very good.
I mean, my Go LR Janemba just dodges everything. So
Yeah.
Do you still have him with
okay,
24
it's the
dodge, Truth?
yeah, I
Why
do.
not?
He's
Why not?
a defensive unit, man. Hey, they could say whatever they want to. They're not changing my mind. I use him for defense, not damage.
Yep. All right, well, there you go. So that was the last question. Thank you, Quintil, man. So that wraps up the questions, which, of course, wraps up the episode for this week. So shout out to everybody that came out. If you did miss it or you came in late, obviously this episode will be uploaded onto the YouTube channel tomorrow, so you can catch anything you missed over there. So this has been episode 69 of the Dokkan Battle Podcast, Seeing Red Zone. I have been your host, the Masked Ningen. Big shout out to all of my guests, Minato, Truth, Goresh, and Ice Cold Joker. I hope you guys enjoyed, and we will see you all next time. Peace out.
See you guys.